Hi, Stampers. It's Lisa. Welcome to today's live where we're playing around with the Nuts About Squirrels stamp set, and we're going to make this landscaped easel card. This is something that is a little bit different than what we've done before in that I'm folding it the other direction. Normally the peak, I can't bend it, but the peak would go up and it would make an A and it would come down here, but we're doing that in reverse. So instead of this one folding into the card, it's folding out of the card. So just a little different, but it's exciting to play around with some stamps that are so versatile in that we can color with them with blends, with markers, with whatever, but they also have stamps designed to stamp the color inside of them. So fun stuff. Let me put you down on my desk and we'll get started with the basics in that we need a standard card base. And this is going to be 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4, but then we're also going to score it at 2 1/8. Then I have an inside piece that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. The front piece that's going to go up here, that's going to be 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. We have our stopper. This is 5.5 by 3/4. This is in mossy meadow. This is gray granite. And then we have a little 1/2 inch by 5.5 that's going to go here. That's going to decorate that. And then I have the two pieces of basically scrap that we're going to use to die cut this here. So let's start with the die cutting so I can put this machine away. It takes up kind of a lot of room, although not as much room as the Big Shot did. So I'm going to die cut our two big pieces, and they're going to be cut using the Scalloped Contours dies. I just love these. I think they are so versatile. They are designed to go with a flower stamp set, but if you don't have that flower stamp set, I can't tell you how many cards I have used these dies on. They are excellent in that they die cut and then they also emboss or do the little stitching lines. So they're super, super versatile. I highly recommend that you get those. Today we're using these two. So not the largest one, but the next two down. Grab my pieces here. And you'll notice I'm putting the dies in a little bit askew. That's on purpose. That helps them get a little bit better contact as they go through. And it saves the die from doing too much warping. Come on. I don't want them to actually hit each other, but I want them to touch. Come on. Oh, this one missed a little bit, so I'm going to run that through. Just because I didn't have the top plate on there quite right. And you'll notice I'm flipping this top plate because every time I run it through the machine, I flip it. And that helps to keep it flat. Also, using a precision base plate or a clean plate on the bottom also helps. So there's those two. What's everybody up to today? Are your kids still on spring break? Or do you have kids at home anymore? I've seen the teenage girl next door home more often, so I'm guessing it's spring break here. My kids are far grown and out of the house. So I usually don't see those things unless you all are talking about it. Oh, we do need to score this one. I'm going to bring in our trimmer. I highly recommend our trimmer as well. Each little mark here is at 1/4 of an inch, and then this thing folds out and allows you to cut larger pieces. It's got this little lip on the side that allows me to push into it or up to it to make sure that I am straight this way. And as long as I'm straight this way, this is going to cut straight. So I'm going to line it up with the 5.5, which is the center of this ruler here. Oh, no, it's not. 5.5. Oh, I want 4.25. That was 5.5. See, this way is when we use the center of that ruler. I'm going to turn it. We're going to do 4.25. That's what I wanted. I love this one. They did a new and improved trimmer, and one of the things they did is they made the blade that goes in here like twice as big. The other one had a tendency to go dull more often than I was comfortable with, but this one seems to last a lot longer, and it of course has the cutting and the scoring blades to it. Again, I use this lip when I'm folding over to make sure that those two sides line up, and then I push back into this so that gives me the best chance of making sure my edges line up. I've also put a strip of the tear and tape behind here. I didn't remove the backing. I just put the tear and tape on there so that I could read the numbers, because we often use those numbers on the side. And when we align this little groove in the cutting blade with the number on the side, that's how we make sure we get our measurements going this way. Okay, so here is our card base, again in gray granite. I'm going to stick this in there. And this designer series paper is actually not designed to go with the squirrels. It wasn't designed for that, but it does work very well for it. Oh, and see, this is how we normally do the easel card. See, I automatically started bending it that direction because that would be our easel card. That's how we normally would do this. I'm going to do this in reverse, in that I'm going to bend it up. And then these are going to go on there, and then that's how it's going to be an easel. So not real different, just a little different, but enough to give it something different. Just a little bit of variety. So when I went to put the designer series paper on there, that's when I noticed, because this needs to go here. And this designer series paper is the Happy Forest Friends. And I did not get the bundle that goes with this. It's an adorable bundle. It just wasn't something that I use. But I have used this designer series paper for several other animals that I have, as well as the gnomes, because it's got the little mushrooms in there. It works really well with our gnomes. And this is the stamp set I'm using today, is the Nuts About Squirrels, and it's on page 50 of our annual catalog. You'll notice that my annual catalog is bound with the spiral and has this clear cover on the front. I usually do this for my customers who will order from me between like now and the 15th of April. If you place an order, then I will have your catalog bound before I send it to you. This works really well when you're working and you want to lay it open, because it does lay nice and flat on your desk. So place at least a $50 order between now and April 15th, and you will get a bound catalog from me in the mail, because I mail out my catalogs direct. We have an option to ship them from Stampin' Up, but I don't. I mail them myself. So I just stacked the 1/2 inch designer series paper on the 3/4 inch of Mossy Meadow. And then I want to pop this up, and I can do this with either dimensionals or our adhesive strips. I love to use our adhesive strips because they are evenly distributing the weight of this, I guess, so that it's even all the way across. I suppose it's not necessary. It's just, I don't know, something I did, your choice. But again, we always remember that if you're going to use strips, stick with strips, or if you're going to use dimensionals, stick with dimensionals because they are different heights. I don't know why, kind of silly, but that's going to go there. But I'm not going to put it down yet because I want to center this, and where I position this is going to determine the angle of where this is going to angle up. But we have some stamping to do, right? Hello, everyone. Thank you for putting in hashtag Prize Patrol. Also, make sure that you are subscribed and you have your notifications turned on. I've had a couple people tell me that they don't know exactly when I go live, but that's the beauty of YouTube, is you can hit that little bell and it will alert you when I go live. If you're a subscriber. And please, please, please share with your friends, because I'm looking for more crafty folks to play with, but also because I'm almost at 5,000 on my channel. And so I'm thinking I'm going to do some kind of drawing or a giveaway when my YouTube channel hits 5,000 subscribers. So please share, and then let me know you've shared by putting it in the comments, because I will see that it's been shared, but it won't tell me who shared it. So I want to be able to thank you. So please share and then put that in the comments. Okay, I'm going to use our Stamparatus. I love this little tool. This is a stamp positioning tool that Stampin' Up made for us that is so versatile. I use it for lots and lots and lots of things. Stamping images so that they're nice and dark and crisp is one of the things. Hinge stamping, we do wreaths with them. There's a whole slew of things that I do with the Stamparatus. And if you want one of these, I suggest you get it now. I can't suggest that high enough. Please, 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 if you like the Stamparatus, you're interested in it, move it to the top of your wish list. You're going to be glad you did. I have some sticky grid paper in mine that I got on Amazon. I've got it on my links, but this comes with magnets. Just every once in a while, I want to stamp something that I want to stamp on the whole piece, and there's really not room for me to put magnets. So that's when I will use the sticky grid paper. We're going to do this in 2 steps. Like I said, this stamp set has the outline detail, and then it has this one for the inside. Now, they allow you to make the squirrel and the acorn and then the cap to the acorn all 3 different colors. So they are 3 different stamps. You can choose not to use these 3 and just color in, like I said, with watercolor pencils, with blends, with whatever you want to color with. But these are an option. And this is when the Stamparatus comes in very, very handy, in that we can position it where we want it to go and then pick it up with the plate. And then I can flip it around, and I can also position this one. But I do that by, let's do this one first. And I almost always will put the stamp case under here. That makes this nice and flat and an even surface so that it stays steady when I go in and ink up with my pad. I will often also use the little mini pads. We sell these individually in a set of a variety of colors. I can't remember how many are in, I think 8. But then we also have them in our kits. And then we have some blank ones where you can just use your refill marker and do your own. They are linen pads. I do recommend that you store them upside down. There is no marking on the bottom. So what I do is I cut a 1-inch circle punch and put cardstock on the bottom that coordinates to the color. So when they're stored upside down, I can see what color I'm working with. Okay, so that's the outline of our squirrel. And then I can flip this over. And this is why my Simply Chamois is cut into little pieces, because that's how I clean those off. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to set it in the Stamparatus, and I'm going to wiggle it around until it is lined up so that the ears are in there, the feet are in there, and it's going to fill in color where I want it to. I always suggest you look straight down from the top. That's why I'm moving it closer to me, because I want to make sure that I am exactly where I want to be. Then I pick it up, and then I can ink it up with whatever color that I wanted to color my squirrel. So I'm going to use crumb cake, and I'm going to stamp. Now I left this one on the back to show you that if you were doing a series of these, say I wanted to make 15 of them or something, I can now just flip the plate back and forth and repeat stamp these things, and they'll all look exactly the same. But look at how perfectly that filled in the color, because I was able to take my time, line it up, and get it in there. Now, if I think this is not dark enough, I can come back with more ink and I can stamp it again, and it'll make that ink darker. There's also, I could ink this up with Versamark, and I can stamp down, and then I would put clear embossing powder over it, and that would make his coat shiny. So you can virtually emboss in any color that we have by using this technique. But we're just working with the squirrel today. If I wanted to, again, I could take these little pieces and again line them up. I'm going to take this off because it does come with a second plate. And I can use this one to pick up the acorn. I can flip it over and I can place the cap to the acorn. Again, you get perfect placement when you look straight down from the top. I'm looking at a little bit of an angle, so wish me luck. And again, see how they're really teeny, and I'm taking this giant pad. That's where those little minis would come in handy. Okay, so I'm going to make it nice and dark there. I'll flip this over. And I'm going to do the bottom in soft suede. So I've got crumb cake, early espresso, and this is soft suede. I'm off just a teensy bit, but still good. I'm the only one that's going to notice, but the idea is if we had placed that correctly, if I look straight down from the top, I could have aligned his hand to be in that white spot. But it looks pretty good. And like I said, if you like the Stamparatus, buy this now. We do have a new catalog coming out. Stampin' Up! Is about to release their annual catalog, which means that our January to June mini and our 2022 to 2023 annual catalog is retiring as well. So we're going to get a giant list of retiring products. And I say giant because they are doing a color refresh, which means they're going to refresh our colors. They're going to take out several, put several in, just kind of change it up a little bit, make it a little more current. And because they're doing that, anything that uses any one of those colors that's retired, because we do that color coordination, any designer series paper, any ribbon, buttons, markers, a lot of things that have those colors in them are now going to be retiring. So don't panic when you see the list, because it is going to be larger than normal, but the idea is it's also discounted. They usually will discount a lot of things that are being discontinued, so they go rather quickly to make room for all the new stuff. And what am I looking for? Oh, Nuts About You. And I did that in Old Olive because that's the color I have here. So as soon as I get the retirement list, I'll be posting it out to my newsletter subscribers. So hopefully you are subscribed to my newsletter. I usually send it out as a table, like a product table. So it's all pictures, because they give us a list, like just an Excel spreadsheet kind of list. And without the names, you don't know exactly. I mean, maybe you do. I do because I'm a demo, but you might not know what stamp set they're talking about when they just give you the name. So I'm going to give you pictures and make it easier for you. Did I do the months wrong? They have, in the last couple years, they have changed like what months our minis run through. Drives me bananas because I can't keep track. It changes all the time. But the reason that it's running out in the end of April is because they wanted the mini and the annual catalog to go out at the same time. Because last year we had two lists. We had one list for our mini and one list for our annual, and they were too close together. So they are grouping them this time. That again will lead to why this list is going to be so large. So my eye in this little squirrel didn't go just right, but I'm going to take that opportunity to give him blue eyes. What do you think? I like that. That gives it just a little bit of pop. So there's our little landscaped easel card in a little bit of a different orientation. So what do you guys think? Have you seen the landscaped easel flip this direction before? Is this something new or something that you've seen? Because it was kind of new to me. I hadn't seen it before. Also, thank you to those of you who are putting in hashtag prize patrol. I have the computer over there collecting everything. Oh, good. It's new to people. Wendy, Amy, Connie. Good. I'm glad I'm bringing you something new. Again, this was using the Nuts About Squirrels stamp set, and we're going to use it again on Thursday. And you're going to love what I did Thursday. Check out the little mice. So we're looking at this and we're saying Nuts About Squirrels. They're squirrels, right? Well, what I did was I stamped them on smoky slate with basic gray ink. And then I went in and I cut off this piece. Now I cut it off with scissors. You could also just, once you ink up your stamp, use a little piece of the Simply Chamois and erase the ink off the stamp before you stamp. And then I took our plain Stampin' Write markers and I drew a line in, because I didn't on this one. And yeah, it's a little wispy tail and Mice tails usually are small and wispy like that. But for this one, I went ahead and I just drew with the marker to give him a smaller tail, and in gray, he's a mouse. And we're going to put him in some cheese. So that will be Thursday's card. I hope you come back and play with me. This is the card. I'm adding the 3 of these, or it's going to do in class live next week. So what do y'all think? Who's excited about the new catalog? And had you heard about the color refresh before? I know there's been some talk of it out there. We haven't been able to talk too much about it because it's all speculation at this time. Last time, I think they took out 10 colors and gave us new ones. We don't know how many. I have a Zoom this afternoon with our leaders group. They're going to give us some more details, so I will know more, hopefully, this afternoon. Hopefully they're not just teasing us, and we'll actually get to see what colors are coming, because we know they're bringing back some retired in colors. We know we're getting Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock, but there's also supposed to be more. So exciting stuff. So here is our Prize Patrol wheel. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a spin and see who today's winner is. Congratulations, Amy. Amy Smith is today's winner. And what I need Amy to do is go to my website, which is queenbeecreations.net. And then in the address bar, I want you to put, after the address, after .net, you're going to put /Prize Patrol. It's going to take you to a claim form. It's a Google form that will ask for your address, so I know where to mail it off to. So congratulations, Amy, and come back and see me on Thursday for another live class. See you then. Bye.